I played Dirt 5 not knowing what to expect. After my bad experience with Dirt Rally 2.0, my moral about the game was low, so I reluctantly played it and have to admit that I was really surprised. The game didn't suck immediately, and I was able to explore the game without having any negative bias. It felt like I was playing a new game and not a game that I avoided. The first thing I noticed about this game is that it tries to use Dirt 2's nostalgia. Dirt 5 is very colorful, just like Dirt 2, though it doesn't have the piss filter. Based off of first impression alone, it looks beautiful, has to be one of the best looking Dirt games I have ever seen. From the detail of the tracks and environment to the pretty good details of the cars, this is a great game to look at. When you open the game and interact with the menu, you are greeted by a lot of overly animated and very stylized text, and this is something that Dirt 2 did. I must admit that it feels good to see this style again. It feels refreshing to see that they could pull it off, because the menu is very good to look at. And one thing I just want to quickly mention is the livery editor. I would say that the livery editor is one of the worst parts about this game. The livery editor is something that comes from Race Driver Grid 2008, and Grid 2008 makes you create a livery, and for some reason Dirt 5 has many patterns locked, which in Grid 2008 all the patterns were unlocked from the beginning. So I didn't bother to create one, because even all the early Dirt games you were given liveries from the start, and you would unlock more liveries as you progress the game. The gameplay of Dirt 5 is pretty decent. The game doesn't want you to go crazy, but you're allowed a certain amount of freedom. The handling and physics are really good. I like the fact that you have the ability to slide and drift in the game like you would in a real rally car. This game has more of a focus on fun. I feel that there is a giant misconception that a game being realistic means that the game can't be fun, and people defend that statement saying that the game being realistic is the fun part. The whole point is, something being realistic only references the level of detail. If the purpose behind the detail is not clearly managed well, then the whole experience falls apart. Something being realistic or realism has never saved a game if the game is garbage. For the most part, the game is fun. It feels like your out of touch uncle that is trying to show that they are still hip and with the times, like your grandmother who learnt one hotkey on a keyboard and now feels like she could control a supercomputer. But I feel that the best part about this game is the levels. I really like the tracks in the game. Sometimes the AI drivers get really crazy and chaotic, but after all, that is just normal rally. The best part is that the game gives you a very unique experience, one that is fun and colorful. The game tries to use people from the car space. There are people from a popular car YouTube channel called Donut Media that were included in the game. They added a nice human element which felt rather good, because this was not present in some of the other games. Dirt 5 felt like more of a Dirt 2 remake than an original idea. If that was their aim, then I would say that they kind of nailed it. There is a good sense of nostalgia that I didn't think I would see again. After Dirt 3, I thought they had left the style of making Dirt games. This game left me wanting more. The franchise took a very different direction. They tried doing more of a simcade style, and from what I've heard, it seems like they went full-blown simulator with the previous two games. I tried to play Dirt 5 with my wheel, and while it was playable, the only issue I have is that it didn't make the game any more fun. When it comes to driving on a wheel, the game wants you to drive as if you're driving on asphalt, and that takes away from the rally experience I wanted. I feel like these games don't understand what rally is. This is the point where I would encourage people to go watch rally videos. Watch how they slide, handbrake turn and reverse entry. These are the things I want to do. I would even go as far as to say that rally is not the most realistic motorsport on its own. You are often driving very small, heavily modified cars in some of the most harshest conditions, and then people want to say that is realistic. I would say that when it comes to racing games, there's a certain amount of things that you can over exaggerate to make the game more fun, but I feel that rally racing leaves enough room for that while still keeping the game as realistic as possible. One thing I will say is that Dirt 5 is a lot more fun than Dirt Rally 2.0. I'm really disappointed that Dirt 4 is no longer available, because that game was more serious than Dirt 5, or at least from what I saw, because Dirt 5 doesn't seem like it takes itself very seriously, and the issue I have is that the game is not enough of a challenge. It feels like a baby-proofed version of Dirt 3, as if they are too scared to give you a real intense rally experience. I realized that I made a mistake. I bought both Dirt Rally 2.0 and Dirt 5 on sale, and when I'm glad that I got them both cheap. I bought the DLC version of Dirt Rally 2.0 and I bought the standard version of Dirt 5 because I was low on money, which was a big mistake because so much of the other content on Dirt 5 is locked behind DLC. Dirt 5 doesn't have the best gameplay loop, and it got to a point where it became very repetitive, and the sad part is that it happens very early into the game. Without the DLC you will have fun, but maybe not to the game's full potential. To be honest though, I think that would be the case with almost any game, don't you think? All in all, I had a good honest time with Dirt 5. I legitimately enjoyed the game, and I will admit I haven't played a good modern racing game in a while. For a game that came out in 2020, it is hard to believe that this game was made 5 years ago. So already, this game is 5 years old, but it hasn't aged too bad. It is still a good time. Though it feels like an out of touch Dirt 2, and though it doesn't feel as serious as Dirt 3, it is still a good honest game at heart. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.